I want to jump a little bit into Anthem Lights.
Oh boy,
We're gonna jump into that. So
Sure.
you joined them back in 2016, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so what was that like? Kind of like, did you know them before? Like, did you know about them?
I had heard of them, but I didn't really know them. Obviously, they were kind of like a Christian boy band that did covers, kind of did the like rock thing. I didn't really know what they were doing. I knew they did covers online, but I hadn't paid attention much.
Yeah.
But I was also doing covers online because everyone was doing covers at that point, like in the mainstream space. And that's what Anthem Lights was cool about. They, like, Christian artists weren't paying attention to social media at the time. Like, if we're just being honest, like maybe some of the hip hop artists were, but nobody in the Christian space was really doing social media driven content. And so they excelled in that because they were like, we're positive and we'll do Christian music, but we'll also do, Taylor Swift. We'll also do clean Justin Bieber songs. We'll also do these things. And it popped. And so I was kind of doing something similar where I was like, I was never dirty or anything with my music, but my originals were Christian adjacent or just blatantly Christian. And then I would do covers of songs that I thought were fun, popular, that everyone would know, but weren't dirty. And because of that, I started working with a guy in Nashville named Chuck Butler, who's a producer for like Torn Wells and a bunch of other people. And he wanted to do something similar to that. I met him through the label that I was working with at the time, and he was like, "Hey, let's just split ownership on these covers that we do. We'll post them and see what happens." Because I've heard about this model with this band called Anthem Lights, and it works. And I was like, "All right, let's try it." So we did like 4 or 5 of them, and crazy story. Right before I joined Anthem, I was like 18, 19 years old. I was kind of getting done with the developmental deal at iShine. It's called iShine Connect. I had a TV show and like a tour, and they introduced me to a bunch of people here. It was kind of like a Christian Disney.
Yeah.
And I was kind of ending that whole term and relationship. And I was like, all right, am I going to go to college? Am I going to move to Nashville and just like start doing the music thing? Am I going to just get a job here in Indiana and keep doing what we've been doing and building online? Like I didn't really know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'd started doing those covers, and I was kind of going back and forth, graduated high school, and I got reached out to by Simon Cowell's like team. And they wanted to fly me out and audition for a boy band. And so I was like, okay, sure, why not? I'll like, that sounds cool. So I go out to LA and we travel, and I did the whole thing for like 3-4 days. Sang, danced, did like a few different like audition things, and ended up getting home. They're like, "Hey, I'll call you in a couple days, let you know what we decide." And I was the only one of the 5 that didn't get selected. And I don't know why. The guy has since told me is because I was like 5, 6, 7 inches taller than everybody else, and they wanted like a cohesive look. That could have been just him
You
being
didn't want
nice.
to tower over people.
I know. I could have just been him being nice. Like, I'm not gonna take it too much,
Yeah.
But that was like a really crazy experience. And I don't know if you know this dude Levi Mitchell. He's my buddy here in town. He and I were almost in a couple of boy bands with in the Christian side of things here in town. And all of these things kind of just happened within like 6 to 7 months, and nothing worked out.
Yeah.
And so once the Simon Cowell people called and was like, "No, it's not gonna happen," I was like, "All right. Well, I don't really want to go to college, so I think I'm going to just get a job, and I'm going to start doing music and maybe move to Nashville. I don't know. I have a lot of relationships down there. Maybe I can do that." And like the next day, I get a random text from Caleb in Anthem. And he goes, "Hey, dude, I'm part of Anthem Lights. My name's Caleb Grimm. Do you want to potentially talk about joining our band? We see that you do covers online. It's kind of similar to us. We have a member leaving. We'd love to talk." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like we're literally like, I just got told no. I'm like really depressed because nothing's happening. I don't think my music's doing okay, but not enough to live off of. I'm gonna have to get a job. I'm gonna have to either move, which is fine. Those are all like just growing up things, but it was just my world was shifting. I was becoming a man. I was becoming 18, 19 years old. And so I was like, well, yeah, like I would love to. Let's talk about it. And so we started meeting with them. They flew me to one of their shows in Tampa, just to see them perform live. The show ends up getting rained out, so I just end up hanging out with them for a weekend in Tampa. And it was awesome. It was a really great fit. The guy that was leaving, I got really close with, and he kind of like helped me out. And I was very ignorant, but I was very willing to work and learn, and I had a good work ethic, and we did a lot of similar stuff. So over the course of that next year, I was able to learn the process, and the rest was history. Excuse me, but it was a really cool like series of events right before joining, where it was just like I was kind of like getting told no, 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 and then finally the yes happened, and
Yeah.
It's obvious that was where I was meant to be.
Yeah. That's so sick. I mean, it seems like the boy band was kind of like in already like your mind as you went through. And
Yeah.
like with all the
Yeah.
other stuff
Right.
was like, yeah, like when you it doesn't even seem like did you even audition for Anthem Lights or was it kind of like you just hung out and then it was like this is like a good fit?
Yeah, there was no audition for it. I think they had asked a few people prior to me,
Mm,
and like loosely auditioned them, but no either. Funny enough, Jimmy Allen, the country singer,
mm.
was supposed to join, but he turned it down. So
Really?
then that's when they got Joey in our band. So that was like a random person that they missed out on it during the career of it.
Yeah.
And then a couple other people before me. And then I ended up just like working that relationship and they liked me. I was young. I was 19 and the next closest in age was like 26. And then the oldest in the band was like 29 at the time or 28. So it was like I was gonna bring their age down, they were gonna bring me up.
Yeah.
But it just kind of worked. It
Yeah.
meshed. I was the little brother of the group. It was a cool dynamic, and the fans were receptive of it.
Mm.
The first thing I recorded with them was some Disney covers, and the rest was history.
I feel like that's so important. Like it's something that you don't even think about. Like when you were starting like auditioning for like these up and coming like or new boy bands, like
Mhm.
you're joining it already an established group. And
Right.
like obviously like the fans like if they're like we don't like this guy, it's like there's a problem there. Like what was that
Yeah.
pretty intimidating? Like especially going up for your first show as like I'm a part of this group. And
Oh
like
yeah. I
was that
mean,
like what was that like?
they had like 200,000 on Facebook, like
Mm,
100,000 on YouTube, and maybe 40 or 50 across all the other platforms. So like the joining process was going to come with a lot. Like everyone loved Alan. He was kind of the leader of the group that I was replacing anyway. And those shoes were obviously not going to come to me.
yeah.
All the guys were like living on their own. Some were married, some were about to, like paying their bills with music. None of them had jobs. Like they had gotten this thing to a steady standpoint, and I was going to be coming in. And obviously, I'm not going to like take the dude that I'm replacing's income. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, all right, let's record songs, and then maybe in 3 to 4 months I can make a couple $100, and then another 3 or 4 months after the next quarter, like then I could
Mm,
maybe start like paying for my stuff. So they were very generous with my joining in a lot of different ways and very supportive. And the base was really into it. There was a lot of mutual fans for the limited amount that I had. They all
mm,
knew who Anthem Lights was. So that was an easy transition. And they welcomed me with open arms. And I credit their management at the time and the team and the way they treated it like a 9 to 5 job, which was really cool. We had an office we worked out of, so it was just a really mature, grown, and well-oiled machine that they
mhm.
had going, and it was really helpful for me because, like, I'm a kid, and my father had kind of been domineering in the running of what we had been doing, so I hadn't really been given an opportunity to just kind of like let my voice and influence happen. And so they were really welcoming in that and helping show
Mm,
how they did it, how it's been successful for them. And it was super educating. And I'm just humbled to have had the opportunity in the first place because it's a difficult thing. I mean, you see in the history of all these groups and member changes, like it doesn't always go well, or it crashes and
yeah.
burns shortly after, or they eventually break up. And like the guys are just super particular about making sure that we all have no egos. We all love each other. We're all trying to make the same income. We're all trying to make the same living. And the better we all do, the better we all do. So
Yeah.
it was a very unique and special experience that I've gotten to be a part of. And I forever thankful, forever
Yeah.
blessed and thankful for it.